What's this? A great main character? Yeah, baby. Before we start, do me a quick favor and leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Now, let's get moving. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and let's talk about how great Sora is. Man, do I love this character. And I know this may come as a shock, because Sora does seem like a lot of other characters that I tend to talk down upon, but Sora's good. Sora's good, and let's talk about why. No, Sora's not good. Sora's great. Let's talk about why. Here's the thing about Sora. Sora is one of the most realistic main characters throughout that I've seen. Period. As a teenager, given the power to wield a Keyblade, as a teenager given magic powers and thrown into a world that he has no idea about, and being forced to go through it all, he's one of the most realistic main characters with one exception. And everyone who's played Kingdom Hearts, the series at all, knows the exception I'm talking about, and it's 3D Dream Drop Distance, but I'm even going to give a pass to that in a minute when we get to it. But let's talk about Sora in Kingdom Hearts 1. Why does Sora work so well in Kingdom Hearts 1? Because he's a pure optimist. He is in an entirely new world, quite literally. His worldview has been shattered and expanded in such a drastic way, and seeing Sora not break, not crumble, it's honestly inspirational. The way you see Sora lose everything, really. He lost his home, he lost both of his best friends, and all he gained was this weird oversized key that he has no idea what to do with. And seeing him go through all that, yet still just look for the bright side in things, and see him so happy to traverse the Disney worlds and so ready and willing to help people out, people that haven't done anything for him and likely aren't going to do anything for him because he's just some random guy, but he's willing to help so many people out because that's just who Sora is. Especially in Kingdom Hearts 1, where he's just a nice guy who wants to go through it, and seeing how he struggles in his hunt for Riku and his hunt for Kairi, seeing as how hard he pushes, and no matter how many times Riku kicks him down, which Riku does a lot, Riku will show up, taunt Sora, leave him be. Riku will show up, have Kairi with him, like in the case with Neverland, and then just leave, because something about Sora has changed according to Riku, but really it's Riku being the one who has changed completely. It's Sora who acts as the strong moral center for pretty much the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 1, who constantly, no matter how many times you knock him down, he will get back up. Literally, he loses his Keyblade, loses his two new friends in Donald and Goofy, who go and follow the Keyblade, who are completing their mission to the utmost in the most literal degree possible. He loses all of that. And what does he do? He picks up his wooden sword, he goes with the beast, and he still goes to get his friends back. He still goes to help the beast. That's some determination. That is amazing to think about, and amazing just to watch and play through. Like, the actual feeling, Sora is his own unique character, but you feel everything Sora feels when you go throughout these worlds. And I think that's very, very difficult to do. It's hard to maintain character autonomy while still having player immersion as deep as you have in KH1 with Sora. I think the Disney worlds help that out a lot. That just goes to praising the world design of Kingdom Hearts itself, because we are Sora in this sense. We're being thrown into a world that we don't understand. He who knows nothing can understand nothing, and we are just like Sora in the sense. We honestly really have zero idea what's going on, but no matter what, we keep pushing through every world. We keep pushing through every boss. We keep going through every obstacle, just like Sora does. And Sora, that's what makes Sora so good in Kingdom Hearts 1 specifically. He's such a perfect conduit for the player while being his own individual strong character that acts as such a driving light for the series. And it's a fantastic place to start off the main character. However, the best thing you can do with a main character like that is put them through trials and tribulations, and that's where Chain of Memories kicks in. Now, I believe that Marluxia and Larxene in particular, and pretty much the entirety of the organization that Sora specifically fights, including Vexen, bring the best out of Sora in terms of a character. Purely character-wise, there's no better Sora in my mind than Chain of Memories. Because when I talk about realism, when I talk about struggle, when I talk about mental anguish, Seeing Sora be so violently consumed by rage that Donald and Goofy, two allies that he's been with through multiple worlds at this point, are just like, whoa, dude, calm down. But due to what Sora believes he's going through, due to the fact that he believes these people that he has no idea about have Naminé, have this person that he believes he's had long-lasting connections to and was rude enough to forget her. The way that Sora gets so invested, just like the player gets so invested in the narrative that's being pushed upon him. And honestly, seeing Sora angry, it almost never happens in the series. You get the most of it in Chain of Memories, but he's reasonably angry because this is when Sora gets knocked down and gets himself back up, but in a spiteful way, in a much more human way than Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora was very much a symbol. You always want to get back up, and you always want to believe in your friends, and you want to push through all the hardships in life. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories Sora is, there are a lot of hardships in life, they will knock you down, but you will get right back up and you will knock them down yourself. Seeing Sora rise up against pretty much every last one of his adversaries in Chain of Memories, not just pretty much, every last one of them, he defeats and is ready to kill Vexen. I know he's shocked when Axel does it, but he's I'm telling you, Sora is only shocked that Axel killed Vexen because he thought Axel and Vexen were teammates. Other than that, Sora was about to kill Vexen. When the look of pure satisfaction that Sora has when he fights Larxene and wins and like permanently destroys her, there's no remorse. There's nothing there. But you understand why. Larxene has been torturing him. To his knowledge, Larxene has been torturing Riku. To his knowledge, Larxene has been torturing Naminé. Larxene is the source of so much suffering for Sora within Chain of Memories that, of course, seeing her demise would be a cathartic experience for him. Sora isn't... To make a completely different leap, one of the main issues I have with Tanjiro from Demon Slayer is that I feel like sometimes the feel bad for the demons is a bit too strange. It's a bit too out of nowhere. But the thing that I love about Sora so much is because it's just how you believe a person would react. If you were in Sora's shoes, this once again comes down to Sora as a perfect player conduit. If you were in Sora's shoes, you would be consumed by anger. You would be so happy to see the thing that's caused you so much anguish and agony finally go down. You would be so ready to strike down anything that stood in your way, from not only getting revenge for against those who have wronged you, but also saving and protecting your friends. You would be down. I hate to say it, but it's human nature. It's so real and visceral. And when I tell you, seeing every single time, I've only replayed Chain of Memories admittedly like 3 times. It's not one of my favorite games, but I do replay it a lot, mainly for the story, because the satisfaction I get from beating the final boss, proving my peak as a player of the game, and the look of satisfaction, the look of just pure, there's so many emotions in the look that Sora gives to the fading form of Marluxia. Seeing Marluxia fade away, it's real. And I wish I could be more eloquent when I say it, but the reason I think Sora is so great in Chain of Memories is because it's just how a real person would react. He doesn't feel pity. He doesn't feel sad. He feels relieved. But and despite the fact that he feels relieved, he still feels angry because of all that Marluxia did. But the great thing on top of all of this is that wrapped within that darkness that sort of consumes Sora in Chain of Memories, he still has the light. He forgives Naminé because he understands Naminé's situation. Sora isn't a blind, blood-sucking sociopath. He still has thoughts, emotions, and feelings, and he's willing to accept the fact that other people have thoughts, emotions, and feelings. That's why he still pushes so hard for Riku. He still pushes so hard for Naminé. That's what I love. There's that beautiful dichotomy between light and darkness, between anger and hope, between everything with Chain of Memories Sora, that he's one of the main reasons I think Sora is great overall. Moving into Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora. Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora feels like a more realistic extension to Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, in the sense that Sora's gotten older, he's seen some stuff, and thus he's a bit more serious. That's about it. since he lost all the trauma from Chain of Memories, and since the stakes of Kingdom Hearts 2, despite them being way more massive accordingly to Kingdom Hearts 1, since we know the end game from RIP, they're a lot less personal as in compared to Chain of Memories. And that's why Sora in the game is noticeably less visceral. He's less real. Sure, he still gets angry and he still breaks down. Like, my favorite scene of Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2 is when he actually gets on his knees and begs for Sykes to give him Kairi back, because that's Sora trying to appeal to the heart of a nobody. He's trying to appeal to the heart that doesn't exist, because he still does have faith in people. And seeing Sykes smack it away, it teaches Sora a lesson that not everybody can be forgiven. And you could believe that he should have learned that, after Kingdom Hearts 1 with Anthem. But I feel like Sora sort of throughout Kingdom Hearts 2, I feel like Kingdom Hearts 2's journey with Sora is much more based in an exploration of his established ideals, because he's going up against the exact opposite of what he is. He's going up against the literally heartless people of his world, the nobodies. Meanwhile, in comparison to his Kingdom Hearts 1 self, he really was just going up against regular people, villains, but the desire of the nobodies isn't all that bad. Sora's reflection upon what his beliefs are and where he comes from and what he should do about it. It's interesting to watch throughout Kingdom Hearts 2 because it's a mostly happy narrative, but you see those moments where Riku comes up and Sora just breaks down. He gets so serious, he's so focused. The Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, while I don't like him as much as Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories Sora, is still he's great, because you have those realistic moments. He's still a young guy just traveling the worlds. He's traveling an entire multiverse and helping people out. Of course, he's going to still be happy a lot of the time, but those moments where it buckles down and he gets serious and he starts to get sad, and you feel those connections that he has not only to Roxas but to the people Roxas knew, all of this hefty sort of just character weight that comes with Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2. I think it's beautiful. And the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 is perfect for Sora's character, because he realized that, as much as he doesn't like it, he's going to have to stop Xemnas. He's going to have to stop Xemnas, and he's going to have to save the world, and he's going to have to be stuck in the realm of darkness. But he didn't care, because he got Riku back, he knows Kairi is safe, and he knows the worlds are safe. And I think all that in combination just makes Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora just as great. I'm not going to address Recoded, because it's a completely different Sora that doesn't really pertain to the main narrative at all. I'm not going to address 358, because that was Roxas's game. And 3D, I have a lot of issues with 3D Sora. I believe he's too trusting. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora would be smacking Kingdom Hearts 3D Sora over the head, like, don't be that stupid. But I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3D Sora was almost a regressed version. Like, he went all the way back to Kingdom Hearts 1. He was super naive. He was super hoping. But I think what I can give it a pass for is that Sora, throughout the entirety of that game, despite all the hints that he isn't, believes he's in a dream. So he's willing to take a lot more risks, and I can let that slide for the most part. That's the only pass I'll really give that. Do I have much to talk about Sora as a meaty character in that one? No, and I don't really feel like he's that realistic in that game either. That game is, just as 358 was Roxas's game, I do heavily believe that Dream Drop Distance was Riku's game, rather than Sora's. And obviously Birth by Sleep was also the Birth by Sleep trio's game and not Sora's. So let's move to Kingdom Hearts 3, and what I think about Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora. Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora he's interesting. He's interesting to me, because I do see him as a logical extension to Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora. I feel like he does have a lot, and actually, no, I actually see, sitting here thinking and talking about it, I actually do really like Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora, because he's learned his lessons. He's understood certain things more than he ever has before. He's still a bright, positive light that runs through the world with the same sense of wonder that he did since the first time he landed in Traverse Town. However, he is way more serious. He understands the stakes fully, and while they may not be personal, if we're being honest, Sora doesn't have any personal stake in Kingdom Hearts 3. If I'm not mistaken. At least in Kingdom Hearts 2, he was still hunting down Riku, but in Kingdom Hearts 3, he has nothing really personally at stake except for the fact that his home could be destroyed. But the Sora that we see is so much more willing. Like, he doesn't fall for any of the villain's nonsense. However, he's also willing to, it's weird to say that he's willing to give them chances. He's willing to talk, he's willing to learn from them. And I think that's what I like so much about Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora. He soaks in so much from the worlds around him and the people in those worlds around him. Seeing how he picks up and argues back, and just the way the thing that gets me the most about Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora is the fight with Xehanort, obviously, because these are two men who live on exact opposite ideals. Sora believes that you need your friends to support you and you need to work with what you have, while Xehanort believes that you must stand alone at the peak of creation and you must take care of everything yourself. Seeing those two fight is the perfect contrast for the narrative, and I do believe Sora falling into rage form by the forced persuasion of Xehanort, I think that's great, because it almost shows what Xehanort wants Sora to be. Xehanort wants Sora to be this blind machine that needs to just destroy everything, that doesn't rely on its friends, that doesn't heal itself, that just goes until everything ends, like Xehanort would. But Donald and Goofy bring him back, and seeing Sora sacrifice everything for his friends, it's the most, as sad as it is, it makes perfect sense for Sora to not get his happy ending, because he worked too hard for everyone else to get their happy ending. I think the cost of him using the power of waking being his death, as little as it was established, that's the main issue with the power of waking and throughout a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3 and just Kingdom Hearts 3D through 3 in general. Power of waking is so loosely established, but I believe the consequence of basically rewriting an entire timeline, countlessly interfering in events that were destined to happen, I think his death, or maybe not his death, whatever you want to call it, his fading away, was appropriate. I think it was great. I think it's a fantastic conclusion for Sora, and I think him fighting Yozora and opening the door to this new fictional world is going to be so interesting and so fantastic, and I honestly can't wait to see it. But that's all I have to say. I think Sora's character journey is great. I think Sora's character is great. I think Haley Joel Osment does a fantastic job voicing him, and overall, that's really all I have to talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. I really want to hear what you guys think about Sora, because I heard a lot of mixed takes on Sora when it comes from the Kingdom Hearts community. A lot of people like him, a lot of people hate him. So I just want to see what you guys think in the comment section down below. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.